Today's episode is sponsored by the dating app Irritable Dating, the only dating app exclusively for people with irritable bowel syndrome. Is your love life in the dumps? Presenting to you Irritable Love, the first dating app to match people who have IBS. Look for your number one while not being worried about it. How many times a day you need to go number two. Even if you don't have IBS, are you an irritable person in general? The Irritable Love dating app is right for you too. Just download it next time you're in the bathroom. Guys, don't flush your love life down the toilet. Just because you have IBS doesn't mean you can't find yourself some LOVE. On the Irritable Love dating app, you don't swipe left and right. You wipe up and down. Irritable dating, even if you're a little shitty, it doesn't mean your love life has to be. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by our guest, Edmond Hawkins. Edmond is a New York City-based writer, director, and animator. His work in comedy has been featured on segments on NBC's The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, Patriot Act with Hasan Minhaj on Netflix, and Wyatt Cenac's Problem Areas on HBO. Edmond, welcome to Everybody Whispers.
Hey Adam, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. You're a writer and a director, and you work in the comedy world. So, what do you enjoy most about making comedy?
Well, it's fun, but I would say just giving other people the opportunity to laugh and just to have a slightly better day, if not a 10 times better day, depending on how they resonate with the comedy or not. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And what would you say is like the first time you really felt like, holy shit, I'm doing this. Like I'm making dope shit. You know, that's like resonating with people, or even just yourself. Like what was the first project that you felt like, man, I'm really doing it?
That's a good question. I mean, there's been different tiers to that, like full circle. Like I feel like my accomplishments have gotten me somewhere that I feel proud of. So like there was a short film that I made in college that got into festivals and really kind of like that was the first time where I would see it played before an audience and people would just like kind of like, you know, there'd be a symphony of laughter, and that was really like that was a huge moment for me. But I think full circle, one of the moments was when I got to do something for a late night where I pitched a segment for Paul Rubens when he's coming on as Pee Wee Herman, and I pitched to Jimmy. I was like, we should do a Large March homage because I'm a huge fan of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and so is he. And like the week of, a producer came up and was like, hey, I'm supposed to help you with this thing about Large March or something like that. And this was, I pitched him like maybe a month, 2 months prior, and didn't really, you know, he was excited, but I didn't hear anything further. So I kind of just like was like, that was a great conversation in of itself, just that we align in that way. But when the producer came in, I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be real. And yeah, so that was probably one of the moments where I was like, oh yes, this is where my love for comedy is being like accepted by the people that inspired me to get started.
So, what would you say is your biggest regret?
Biggest regret? I would probably say not going for the things that I thought I could go after in that moment. Like not doing things sooner. That's probably my biggest regret.
Mine is switching to oat milk.
Okay. That's a lot easier to like make peace with.
Yeah, because now, if I want coffee and the spot doesn't have oat milk, I'm not drinking the coffee. It's so fucking good.
You're not a black coffee drinker.
No, I mean, I love black people.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I just, black coffee, no. Anyway, so, okay, let's talk more about your work in late night. So, what is the biggest difference for you between like a passion project, like a short film,
educates me, and so does the hired work. Most of the time, it's like I try to only take things that are fuck yeah in my mind, and usually I can rationalize like why each thing, while it may not be the exact thing I'm striving for, it feeds my education and like my understanding, and then also it's just working with people. It's as a director, it's like you gotta know how to navigate every scenario and complement someone's like energy. So it's just more experiences is always welcome for me.
Who is your biggest influence, maybe early on in what you were trying to do in comedy? Who's your biggest influence? Who you kind of look at and you're just like, that's for me, that's the pinnacle, that's the height.
I mean, the very first is Paul Rubens.
Okay.
That was that movie. I like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's like pound for pound. Like every scene has a quotable moment. So that, and also just the way that it made me feel in terms of like, this is just like nostalgic joy every time I sit down and watch it. That's something that I'm like, if I can do that for someone else, that would be amazing. But as I got older, I would say like Amy Sedaris. Who else? I mean, Stranger with Candy was huge for me. And then obviously, Saturday Night Live had the Chris Farley, Adam Sandler cast, like that was big. But yeah, I would say like Amy Sedaris kind of like struck a nerve with like the weirdness and like the just the different approach. I feel like a punk rock approach to like to comedy that I really resonated with.
Do you have a favorite memory working on set, or someone who you worked with? You don't have to say who they are, but just like a moment of realization where you were just like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like I am in the exact space right now that I'm meant to be.
Not one particular moment comes to mind, but it's just like when I arrive on set, like every like morning, like even though it's like 5 in the morning or 6 or whatever time I wind up, like whenever call time is, when I'm there, and I'm seeing the magic of like everyone's like work coming to life in that moment, like, or starting to, that's where I get that feeling of like, yes, this is the reason why I really don't have a plan B, and the plan B that's kind of manifested that I've been moving away from is just like, I'm actively like putting better people in the job off. Like I'll turn down a job and then I'll say, hey, I can't do this, but this person's better than me, like hire them. And so I'm kind of like talking myself out of a job for the plan B. So it only is my directing that and writing that's going to go forward.
I've only known you for a short period of time, but you seem to me to be like a really just calming presence, and I'm sure that's something that people have told you, that like that's a real value add to be on a set, to be that sort of calm, collected, even keeled presence. Do you feel like you bring that into your directing style on set, and are there times where that becomes like almost untenable, like you just have to like kind of break that character in a way and just kind of harness things in a different way?
I've never been one to like shout, so I really appreciate this format for me to be my true self. I think maybe I would be whispering if we all had headsets and hypercardioid mics on the studio and in the sets.
I always feel like people are too loud, and that big part of the reason why I'm doing this is because like people are just so fucking loud.
Yeah.
Like I hate, like I like hearing people talk, but sometimes it's just like, fuck, bro, like you're being so fucking loud right now. So I thought like this would be nice to like just like.
I don't know if you know who your target demo is, but I feel like parents during nap time would really resonate with playing this podcast.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I came straight from my daughter's nap time, so I was already in quiet time voice mode. So this was like it couldn't be more on point with anyone who has a child who naps at least once a day. But yeah, the weirdest thing now I find is like I'm glad she likes fart jokes.
Everyone does. I don't know anyone who doesn't.
It's a very like it's built into our DNA to enjoy a good fart joke. It's amazing to see that by design you constructed this setup, and you made it so difficult for you to get some water.
You know, I want to be comfortable, but like we are working on a limited budget.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out for this, the Hawkins family U-log. And can you just break down what that is for us, the Hawkins family U-log?
It's a horror movie hidden inside of a Yule log, like the traditional like burning fireplace that families turn on during Christmas or as early as Thanksgiving. And there was one year where my brother put it on, and I was like, "Where's the family that's tending to this fire? This doesn't seem safe." And then so I started thinking like, well, like let's push that logic further. And then I was really lucky. I worked with Vernon Chapman and John Lee on wonder shows early on in my career, and I've used them as sounding boards for ideas in the past. And Vernon Chapman kind of helped supported the idea. It was just like, hey, just take this to the extreme. Like he was like a champion for like taking it to the extreme. If you're gonna do this, make it the weirdest fucking thing you can. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun to just explore this weird thing that no one should expect to see. And that was the hope, is like you just put it on in the background and don't watch it, like, and then don't tell your family, but like then see slowly if people start to catch on that there's a story happening in the background.
Please look up the Hawkins family U-log. It's awesome. I need to take a break for an advert. We have one of our sponsors today. Anyway, today's episode is sponsored by A Moil a Minute, the world's first moil on-demand delivery service. In the Jewish faith, 8 days after a Jewish baby boy is born, the sacred ceremony of a bris milah is performed by a certified moil. But what happens when it's day 7 and you completely forgot to book a moil? Circumcisions in the hospital can be extremely costly. Why isn't there a low-cost, convenient solution when you're in need of a swift circumcision? Well, there is now, presenting A Moil a Minute, the world's very first moil on-demand delivery service. Just open the Moil a Minute app and connect with the moil closest to you in your area. It's like Uber, but for moils. And if you're thinking A Moil a Minute is just for babies, think again. Fellas, let's say you wake up one morning and think to yourself, man, I really wish I was circumcised. Just jump on the Moil a Minute app, and within 10 minutes, a certified moil will be at your door ready to give you the mushroom cut you've always wanted. With A Moil a Minute, you can order a last-minute circumcision anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except on Shabbat and high holidays. All of the moils are medically certified from kosher colleges. The app is currently available for use on the Upper West Side of Manhattan only. Worried about your circumcision? Cut it out. A Moil a Minute, here to assist with your bris. Moil a Minute, our sponsor for today's episode.
Now, I'm curious. How did they find you, or did you find them? And what's the Venn diagram of like what made this union?
Yeah, so it's interesting because well, I'm Jewish.
Okay.
And I had a bris, and I've been talking to I've talked to a lot of uncircumcised guys. And
I'm just curious, how did you get those statistics?
I tend to,
Is that what you lead with?
well, I like to know who I'm talking to. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is, but like,
I feel like uncircumcised people have something to hide, so like you ask that question right away, and then you bounce if you don't, or what's there's something.
The feedback I've gotten from women is that they really, they like the mushroom cut, and whether or not you're circumcised or not, I just think that like there's something like they like. I don't know what it is. Let me tell you something. I think that like what happens is that like there's something about like the fucking mushroom cut, man. this thing. I have this app. It's like Uber, but for moils. And I was like, we'll call it a moil a minute. And he loved it. So I'm kind of like a silent partner.
I was gonna ask, yeah, it sounds like you're a silent partner.
I can't, I mean,
You got skin in the game on this.
I got skin in the game. And, like, fuck it. It's dope. Anyway, I want to see, like, a young moil. You know, like, I want to see, like, a fucking, they're all, like, old beards and shit. Like,
you want to see the Doogie Howser of
yeah,
moils?
like, I just want to meet a dude who's, like, fucking crushing the moil game. Like, I just want to meet a dude who's, like, he's fucking, like, the best fucking moil. And, like, but I feel like it would be weird if he was single and dating in New York, you know, like what do you say? Like, you're out to dinner with a girl, and they're like, yeah, I work in, like, PR, whatever, what do you do? And he's like, I cut baby dicks, you know?
Yeah. That's a profession that, you know, it seems like there should be a TV show about it, because there's just, like, endless questions of, like, what led that profession, like, how did you graduate to that profession?
Usually they're rabbis first, and they get tired of just reading from.
Yeah, but were they rabbis that, like, made money at a deli on the side, or, like, what was?
That's a good point. I think what happened was like they became rabbis. They got sick of reading the Torah, and they just like and they just was like, I just gotta move into, like, the baby dick cutting business, like, and you know what, man, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Anyway, I want to thank Edmond Hawkins for being here on Everybody Whispers. Edmond, where can people find you online, your social media?
Well, fortunately, Edmond's not a popular name, so on Instagram it's Edmond Hawkins, on Twitter it's Edmond Hawkins, and on the World Wide Web it's edmondhawkins.com.
So easy.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Everybody Whispers. I'm Adam Elliott. Thank you for joining us.